It is astounding to have so many things that I want to say and to have been preceded by such fantastic people who have said 80% of them. Thank you all. I don't think I'm ever going to be introduced as well as all of that. It's a sort of introduction that might inspire some people to take out their phones, if they were allowed to turn them on, and visit Solardarity.com, spelled Solardarity, where you can learn more about our work and learn more about the active crowdfunding campaign we are presently running to take it to the next level. It ends on October 31st. You've got 10 days. They say if you don't ask, you won't receive, so here I am asking. I think a lot about power. I grew up on 11th Street and 5th Avenue in New York City. Folks in my community went to private high schools and didn't generally worry about getting shot by the cops. In that community, there is a tremendous amount of social power, but there is also this tremendous feeling of powerlessness. And I've talked about that feeling with elected officials and community organizers and trust fund kids. And some of you are probably familiar with that feeling. It's what happens when you're aware of the enormity of the problems we're trying to solve, and you feel incredibly small in your capacity to address those problems. And there's huge pain in the distance between those two things. And I have exhausted a lot of time and energy in my life just trying to dull that pain. I'm joined tonight by Shu and Carlos from the Solardarity team. 2 years ago, I could not have imagined that we would be here, that we would have installed 2 solar-powered streetlights, and that we would be talking about building a cooperative in Highland Park to promote energy democracy in the city. And it baffles me that of all the things I've learned, the one that comes out as the most important is knowing just how much time and energy it takes to build relationships, to build trust, to build mutual respect, and the strategy that comes out of those relationships. Shu and Carlos, and to everyone that is not present, I thank you for your vision, for your commitment, for your creativity to this work and all the other work that you do, because I have had a tremendous amount of privilege in my life, but it is by far the greatest to be building power with you. So there's a lot of power locked up in our utility system, and if we want to win the fight for the planet, we have to get at that power. Because utilities are retiring their coal plants, and they are investing in renewable energy, but they are defining trash incineration and nuclear as renewable energy. They are holding our communities hostage to the costs of obsolete infrastructure, and they are spending our energy bills paying the lobbyists that are opposing us and holding us back. Now, when I'm feeling powerful, I can imagine a different future. I can imagine a movement that doesn't just talk about empowering frontlines leadership, but actually invests in that leadership, in the organizations, in the education, legal action, and finance we need to move wealth out of monopolies and into the control of our communities. But if we are going to get really serious about doing that work, we need to ask ourselves what it means to invest in justice and what it means to be in a kind of solidarity that goes beyond symbolism. In the words of Aboriginal activist Lila Watson, if you have come here to help me, you are wasting your time. But if you are here because your liberation is bound up in mine, then let us work together. The repossession of Highland Park streetlights is one symptom of a national system that is causing poverty, pollution, and political stagnation in communities across the country. And I stand here tonight on the shoulders of social movements that have been fighting for local economics since before we had a climate crisis. And I come to that knowing that if we want to change where we get our power, we need to change who has it. It is tremendously joyful to do this work, especially with such wonderful people who've just been cheering like crazy all night, and so appreciated. But as joyful as that work is, the distance between where we are and where we actually need to be is still huge, and it is still painful. So I'd like to close with some words that I carry with me in those painful moments. They're from a song called Two Young Leaders by the artist Guante. And I hope a great many things for the world. I hope that we win. I hope that we stop the planet from warming. I hope that we build just and sustainable economies. I hope that you donate to Solidarity. And I hope, but right now I just hope that these words, regardless of your age, your politics, or your background, make you feel powerful. What you say is more important than how you say it. What you do is more important than what you say. And what you build is more important than what you do. So what you gonna build today? Young leader, young metahuman, young spellcaster, stay fashioned in the blueprints. Humility is beautiful, but when worst comes to worst, remember what you're worth. Remember, people who have not accomplished half of what you have are gonna tell you that you work too hard. And they'll support your yapping, but when you propose action, they'll tell you that it goes too far. So if you really want change, be prepared to make war, whether physical, cultural, spiritual, or something more, because if we are the ones we've been waiting for, what the hell are we waiting for?
They are less than the sum of our fears. I think the guards are asleep at the gate. We got all the weapons we need right here. We are more than the sum of our parts. They are less than the sum of our fears. I see the guards are asleep at the gate, and we got all the weapons we need right here. We are more than the sum of our parts. They are less than the sum of our fears. I think the guards are asleep.